Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. It's time again for a Trek rewatch. I forgot to play the intro, but I did make this Star Trek Lower Decks episode 9 review. There we go.
Can I start off by saying two things?
Yes.
Please. For the viewers out there, I don't know about you guys, but the Mitch floating head is very, very disturbing to me in the holodeck. And the second of all, before the show starts, John talks about my mama a lot. So
a lot of disparaging comments. Absolutely.
No. Mm-hmm.
It's the dozens every time Franco and I get together.
So I wanted to get those two things off my chest.
Pay no attention to the head behind the holodeck or in front of the holodeck. I like it.
I'm just a simulation. I'm not really here.
So do you have a green shirt that allows you to be green screen, or are you wearing like a green blanket?
I decapitated myself before the show and just shoved my head on a spike.
Well, hopefully this decapitated version is a little bit smarter and quicker on the draw.
No, watch this. Look, David McCullum from the Invisible Man show.
Nice. I loved that show. I was a big let's talk about a show that I really love as opposed to Star Trek Lower Decks. I loved that Invisible Man show.
Not to be confused with Gemini Man.
True. Ben Murphy.
Same thing. Yeah.
Ben Murphy. No, but he had the Seiko watch that turned him invisible.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Whereas and Dave McCall was a couple years earlier was like bombarded with rays to make him permanently invisible. Remember, he had like the Mission Impossible mask and gloves to make, and I loved when they were building the mask and they gave him the eye contact so he was invisible, but like there's like a smear of like whatever the rubber was to make the mask and his eyes.
Gemini Man can only be invisible for like a certain amount of time. Was that his deal?
Yeah, I want to say like 15 minutes or something.
Oh, okay.
Like
I mixed them up.
I love how bad Lower Decks is that we're talking about the Invisible Man
from a 45-year-old show.
Yeah, the Invisible Man genre of television. We haven't even gotten to the Sci-Fi Channel show yet of the 90s. And then there's Lower Decks episode 9.
Okay. What did you guys think, honestly?
I will even confess that there were parts that I did find funny, but only parts. And the premise of the show, as always, pissed me off because it flies in the face of Star Trek. And it's, again, they play at Star Trek. They don't do Star Trek. But so I would give it 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Wow. Mitch,
right?
Yeah. This was called Crisis Point, or it should have been renamed All the Movie Reference Episode.
The whole thing was one big long member berry or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was okay, believe it or not. I gave it a 6 out of 10, but there was one crucial element of this show that happened that I was like stunned because I thought it was established in all the prior episodes and I didn't know we weren't supposed to know something. So Can I just say that up front?
Yeah, I think we're reviewing. So we can
spoilers.
No, spoiler alert.
Most of the fuck cares about this show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, there's that. I'm trying not to swear today because my wife saw last week's show and she was appalled how bad I was. But it was so bad last week we won't talk about it. But when at the very end, Blomer, whatever, Brad finds out that Mariner's mother is Captain Freeman. I'm sitting there watching this going, I thought everybody knew this from the first show. Either it was poorly written or I was falling asleep. She's mentioned, how did I know that she was the daughter of the captain? Because I'm like, wait, I thought they've already said this.
No, they did that one scene where she was with the mom in there, but like it was established that nobody else knew that she was on there.
Oh, right, and also and that whole covert conversations that she has with her husband, the admiral, the captain.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, but whatever. I mean, again, it's fine. I also will point out, and forgive me, Franco, because I do want to know your general opinion. Lots of lines screamed out quickly that, again, I guess I'm getting old because I'm like, what did he say? What did they say? Go on.
Mitch, did I miss your ranking? What did you rank this as?
Oh, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10?
Out of 10.
Yeah.
There was I actually laughed out loud twice, which never has happened before. Maybe with the dog I did a bit, but there were some comments, and it was from the secondary characters, who I don't even know their name. The guy with the mustache, and then
I meant to write it down. They finally said the engineer's name.
They said his full name. I was like, oh.
And I'm like, all right, it's taken us 9 episodes now to know his name, and I forgot it again.
He was pretty funny. And then there were some of those like comments like Franco likes now and then when they yell out, not Sector 47 or whatever it was. There was just weird background noises. I'm like, oh, that was funny when the guy hit the girl. It's like, something bitch or whatever.
Yeah, he yelled it out. I laughed at that.
I was like, whoa, Starfleet. That was funny, but it's the same show. It's never going to change.
So what was? Dude,
I wasn't mad at it.
This show is so bad, and the talk shows that we do about it are so bad that I can't remember the ratings I gave any of them.
You give it
that was my lowest rating. What was my highest rating?
I think you gave it a 7 out of 10 once for like the third episode.
Yeah, I was going to say there was like one early episode that you liked.
Yeah, there was one that I liked. I couldn't remember the rating, and I want to either match that or kind of maybe slightly edge it above because I liked this episode better than I liked any of the other episodes. But although I have to say, I started watching it, and I found myself liking it more as we went on.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept reminding myself how much this show pisses me off that I wanted to hate it. But by the end, I was like, it was bearable enough for me. Yeah. I mean, there were some funny moments, like when they came in and they're revealing the ship. Which I think should have been done in the first episode.
That was great.
This should have been when they were doing the ship porn from Star Trek, the movie. I thought that was funny. They had lots of JJ flares when they actually got on the bridge. I thought that was funny. And then the signatures at the end was really funny too. So, but again, you can't tell me that this show is not made for, people of Star Trek because this whole episode was a member berry. Yep. The whole episode was a member berry.
Yeah, from start
and the fact that I got annoyed that I liked marinara sauce. I liked her holodeck version better than I liked her.
Oh, I hated both of them.
No, at one point I was like, oh, she's actually cool. And then when they revealed that wasn't really her, or was it her? I got confused at one point.
No, there was a holodeck version of her.
Right, because they did the entire crew, and then she wrote the movie. Boimler made the entire crew, including her. Then she made the movie, obviously forgetting that part of the Matrix already was the entire crew, and that's why she was surprised to find a crew member Mariner fighting herself as evil Mariner.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
And now I want to lie down having explained that.
I was going to say, wow, it's exhausting, isn't it?
Well, first of all, let's go to the cold opening. Mariner has, I'm sorry, and I hate to be such a Star Trek nerd. This is why I love Star Trek for 50 years. She violated the Prime Directive. It's the fucking Prime Directive. It's not a traffic violation. It's not a go to your room and think about what you did thing. It's the motherfucking Prime Directive. Now, again, in Star Trek Lower Decks, hey, it's the Prime Directive. Whoa, look what we're doing with the Prime Directive. And it's like, that takes away from the verisimilitude, and shame on me
that's
for expecting verisimilitude from a Star Trek cartoon. I'm sorry, 50 years ago, they managed a very, very Star Trek animated cartoon that absolutely honored the verisimilitude. So sorry for that expectation. What the fuck do I know?
So you're talking about when they were eating the lizard people, that little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I'm like,
there were a couple of fun lines in there that I liked as well.
I agree with that too. That's fine.
Yeah.
But again,
yeah, that pissed me off. But again, from the cold open, that just annoyed me. I'm like, oh, look, she's doing whatever the hell she wants, flagrantly disregarding the Prime Directive, and then she's like, hey, Captain, look what I did. I did something cool for you. And why? Yeah. That's the only time I've ever seen the captain act like a captain from the Federation. Is like what the hell did you do? You weren't supposed to be doing that. It's bad when the best part is lens flare. You're right, Stuart.
I agree, Stuart. Yep, very true.
Oh, hey, Stu. I know.
And do you?
Yeah,
He tries hard to be funny. There's rarely any organic comedy. Yes, indeed. Dante and Evil Mariner, aka Vindicta. Yes, indeed. Yeah, whatever.
Who's Vindicta?
That was her character's name.
Oh, they actually had a name.
Yeah, that's her character's name.
Too much stuff.
Did you actually watch this episode?
I did, and I thought it was all right. But I'm like, wait a second. They crammed a lot of stuff in 20 minutes. You're
getting to episode 9 and 10 when you're like, I don't know if I'm even paying attention.
It's the fact that my body's not attached to my lungs right now, so the oxygen's only in my head.
Wow, just like Neelix when the Vidians took away his lungs in Voyager, and he had the holographic lungs.
Right, I was thinking of that.
Or Robin Williams in the movie The Adventures of Baron Munchausen when his head is floating away from his body and he's much smarter because he's not all sexed up.
That's right. I love that.
My eyes disappear. Anyway, yeah. It always feels like an hour-long show for 20 minutes, doesn't it?
By the way, once again, 3 or 4 weeks in a row, no commercials.
Oh no, I have commercials,
which made the pain go faster. So that's good.
There you go.
Are you sure you didn't upgrade accidentally?
Yeah, seriously, you're right.
Yeah,
maybe I should check my bill, and maybe I should check other CBS Prime shows and see if I'm getting commercials on those. I don't know. That's a fair question and experiment.
You know what's funny? You mentioned commercials, and you know how they kind of tailor the commercials to the audience because they could do that nowadays. I had a couple commercials for prescriptions or whatever it was, but they were geared for an older audience. Like you'd have to be over 55 or 60 to be taking it. So I go, okay, maybe the algorithm figured out how old I was, and they go, oh, we'll tailor that. And the other commercials were all to join the Army. Like, Mom, I'm going to join the Army. Mom, I'm going to join the Navy or something like that. And I'm like, that's interesting. So that's aimed at young kids, and Star Trek's kind of got that military aspect to it. Like, oh, change the world, do that. And I'm like, huh. What audience are they going for? Young and old.
Well, I'm sorry, and I didn't mean to step on you, but yeah, honestly, coming from radio and dealing with a lot of syndicated radio, any youth-oriented programmings, the U.S. military spends a shit ton of advertising money. Absolutely. Okay. And Stuart, I'm so glad you pointed this out because I agree. Captain Freeman broke the Prime Directive too, giving them food replicators. It's like, again, we play with stuff. Prime Directive, Schmime Directive. We don't care. Why? We're a comedy. Rules, again, much like Mariner, rules don't apply to us. We're so cool. And it's like, nah, not really. You suck. You kind of suck really a lot.
And what does that say about the main character, that she doesn't want to go to therapy, but yet she'll do her own therapy where she enacts this scenario where she kills the entire crew and then destroys the ship?
Yeah. Isn't she cool? Isn't she great? Isn't she a hero for wanting to kill the entire crew?
But again, that's why I like the holodeck version of her better. I mean, the holodeck version of her was an actual Starfleet officer.
Yeah, but she was killing everybody. I was like, whoa, what is going on here? I meant to say that this morning. I was watching, what the F, man? She's like killing everybody. I'm like, well, is that okay? That's dark.
I get she was in a game of like Grand Theft Auto, but it's not like it's like my family members were in the game. Like, where if you guys were in the game, I have no problem taking you out with the sniper. Yeah, but
or beheading me.
Right.
But no, she was killing them violently. It wasn't like, oh, bang, you're dead. She was like blowing people away.
Yeah, she's atomizing. They're vaporizing people.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's a racist as well. Sorry, but she's an Orion racist.
Yep.
Because all the Orions are sex-starved thieves. And honestly, I was waiting for Tende to go, gee, that's kind of, at least in a Tendi way, to go, gee, that's kind of inappropriate, or do you really realize what you're saying? No.
Oh,
Yeah,
Again,
she
because
did
it's
it at the
Manor.
end, but then
It's
she brought
Manor.
it
I get
back.
to do what I want.
Yeah, but then she did it at the end where she goes, I don't really like that moniker, even though, we all changed our ways like 5 years ago.
We're all forgive me, Franco, but as an Italian, you're all organ grinders, and I don't people that grind up parts of the body.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can tell me to go to hell then that I'm racist.
It was monkey grinders. That's the thing. If you really want to get
well, Franco's gonna leave now. Thank you. All right, I think we've offended Franco.
As someone who's 3/4 Italian,
that's true.
I got offended by that.
You guys are also amazing singers of the 50s and 60s.
Why don't you go herd some sheep?
That gene didn't get passed down to me. I don't sing.
Sergio Franchi,
No.
Jerry Vale, of course.
No.
Sinatra, of course.
No.
No,
Focus.
it's again.
Oh, I think I wrote down the quote. Hell yeah, Jeff. That's what they yelled out.
Oh, that was the guy's name. Oh, and by the way, Rutherford's first name is, I thought it said Samantha Rutherford. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta be honest. The signatures. It's like you haven't earned the right to that joke because you really suck shit. And this era of Star Trek, I have no idea. Years from now, when CBS wakes up from this Kurtzman coma and decides to, all right, he's got to go, and all this shit that's under his production of Secret Hideout, it's got to fucking go, because this is the worst Star Trek has ever been. And I mean, I'm
gonna be very disappointed with the Brave New World show. Am I not?
No. I hope, man. Again, the grocery list is checking all the boxes.
I know, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid, Johnny. I'm afraid.
I understand.
Don't be afraid. You can always turn the channel.
Mark Bernardin publicly stated the writers' room for Picard season 2 is done. Yeah, we talked about this last week. The scripts are all done now. Sure, that I understand, Dante, and that's great. I wish we had more insight. I have no idea where the writers' room is for Strange New Worlds. I would imagine near the end of Discovery, they'll announce when Prodigy will get started, the Nickelodeon show. That I have no idea if that's going to be simulcast. I'm assuming it will be simulcast on the streamer, because just like all the other Paramount CBS channels are being streamed on right now.
It depends on what kind of deal they have with Nickelodeon. They might not be able to rebroadcast outside.
No, I think they own it. I think they own Nickelodeon.
No.
Yeah, pretty sure they own it.
Man, did you notice at the end when Ballmer went to go talk to the captain, it's like he never met her before? I'm like, wait, that's the guy that was your helmsman. And he goes and runs out of the room and trips over it. And she's like, oh, make a note about Ensign, whatever his name, Ballmer. I'm like, wasn't he just on the ship's helm a week ago and you were asking his advice on how to do stuff? I'm like, this is...
Well, she said make a note that he didn't prepare for the interview.
I'm like...
He freaked out because he knows the secret. That's why.
And again, I mean, just...
Bad writing.
These ridiculous... Well, and also just these ridiculous premises. Well, even just... hey, our ship counselor, he sucks. All he makes are food analogies.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Funny. Well, they attempt to set up a joke, and it's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. And the Bajoran guy's ear thing came off, and she picked it up with still a piece of the air on it. I was like, that's kind of...
And I almost remembered his name, and I can't remember his name now.
Almost. Oh, and Ransom is the name.
I remember.
Jerry O'Connell's character. I'm like,
right, first officer.
Ransom. Don't know why.
But I did like when... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I did like when the engineer was weeping when they were approaching the ship and they were doing all the ship porn. I did think that was funny. I did think it was funny.
There were funny moments. This was one of the better episodes. I'm saying it was one of the better episodes, but again, I was annoyed from the Prime Directive thing at the very beginning. I was so annoyed that like it kind of grew on me as we went through the episode, because I was catching all the stuff. The other thing was when she was making is she quoting from Taming of the Shrew or something like that?
Yeah.
Because that was from Undiscovered Country. Let's slip the dogs of war. Yeah.
Yep.
Cry havoc.
Oh, and that's another thing. Again, at the beginning when they're in the holodeck, there's Da Vinci, and again, that's memories.
That was John Rhys Davies. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in the original, yes.
Yeah.
Because I was saying that wasn't John Rhys Davies doing it.
No.
I would not dignify myself to be in this shit.
He was on Voyager.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, we know. But again, it's the fucking holodeck. really your choices are endless. So other than the member berry, not really sure why you needed to use Da Vinci again. But
one of
okay.
the things they did do right with Da Vinci is what they set him up at the beginning, and then they brought him back at the end, which again is a good writing technique. But
yeah. All right, I'll give you that. No, and I got no problem with him skeet shooting.
Yeah,
even though it's historically inaccurate because it is the holodeck. It's no different than having Data's
I am not a merry
game.
man. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, or Data's poker game with Isaac Newton and Einstein and Stephen Hawking and stuff. So that's all right.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me. I was listening to a podcast all about comedy writing, and I don't know why.
Oh, that's a good point.
Why it doesn't pertain to this show because there's no comedy on it, but there was something about the rule of three. Have you ever heard that, John?
Yeah, we've discussed. I thought we've discussed the rule of three before.
Oh, did it? I don't know.
Was Star Trek? Was Star Trek in particular?
No, it was. I can't remember. It was a radio gag, and the guy said, what you do is you tell the joke once,
right? You
tell again, and then third. That's it. You don't do it again. And I'm like, wait a second. This show has done the same stuff week after week after week, and it's never been funny the first time. So I think that's the mistake they make. They repeat the same bad joke. And there was something about bending something that's funny, but breaking it is not funny. So if you have like a little shtick thing, that Da Vinci thing made me laugh because they did it twice. But imagine if they bring them back like every week, they'll just beat it to death. And okay.
Well, because the Star Trek 3 rule is whenever they're talking about something historic, there are two tangible things that we as Earth history people can understand. And then they do the third one, which is some futuristic thing. Like, we all know the totems of law, the Magna Carta, the American Constitution, the Treaty of Rigel 7. And it's like, it's like that kind of thing. They always do, the Mars colonies of 2260. It's always crap like that. And so there's that Star Trek 3. But no, I understand what you're saying about the humor 3. Sure. And again, that's why last week when Rutherford's headpiece kept blacking out? Yeah, they did it like 6 times. They did it like 6 or 7 times.
And next week's coming attraction, it goes off again. The headpiece malfunctions. I'm like, so remember I told you what if they ended like best of both worlds with a cliffhanger? Was this technically their cliffhanger because he found out that her mother's the captain and he runs out of the room? They're going to carry that over to next week. So this is a 2-parter, right?
I don't know if they'd have the balls to do it with a cartoon like this.
No, but I'm saying this is it. This is their big season finale 2-part episode.
I refuse to believe they're gonna. If they end on a cliffhanger, great. And I hope they get canceled and never, and don't come back.
No, and so the way
and Mike McMahon's gonna have to explain on Twitter what he was gonna do.
The way I looked at it, so there was actually character development happening, and we didn't see it for 9 episodes. That was like that's what got me today. I was like, I would thought they could have shown these out of order, and you would have never cared because nobody really ever changed. But apparently, this one definitely had a theme towards the end.
Yeah, clearly, I agree with that. But also, I think as far as character development, whatever, you're reaching. But that's all right.
I'm not. Hey, I'm trying to be devil's advocate.
I was going to say you're being charitable. Absolutely. No, wait, Dante's got a comment for you, Mitch. Am I the only one expecting Mitch to say so? Me, what do you got? Like the floating heads did in Rick and Morty. I if that's from season 4, I haven't seen it yet. I've been like purposely saving season 4 as a palate cleanser of some sort. It's sitting on my DVR, and I mean, I love the first 3 seasons, and I heard season 4 was great again for Rick and Morty, but I don't know.
I've never watched Rick and Morty, so I don't know what he's talking about. Hey, Mike McMahon, that's his name, Mike McMahon. He was on that Trek Yards.
Trek Yards again, or the same show?
No, another episode. He likes going on that podcast. Don't know why he didn't come on.
Well, they're being nice to him, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Well, the whole episode was him.
Maybe they don't call his show shit on that one.
No, they were all about where's the cargo, the shuttle bay on the Cerritos, and that's what they talked about for a half an hour. And I'm like, who cares? I didn't swear, but who cares?
Well, that's what that show is, though. That show is a technical. It's a technical show. Yeah, I mean that's why it's Trek Yards. They geek out about that. Which, hey man, again, I'm cool with that. At least it's something different than what we're doing, yelling at our TVs.
No, we're looking for stories.
Is it bad that my favorite part is when the ship was destroyed and all the crew members died? Is it bad that was my favorite part?
No.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I again, well, and
that was a reference to the Enterprise movie when the saucer section. But I like that it rolled. It rolled like a bowling ball or a frisbee.
Well, and that was Generations.
Yeah.
That was kind of
Yeah, right.
Generations
Yep.
when
Oh
the ship
yeah.
The saucer
crashes on
section.
the planet. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And again, like that was fine. That was again. That's where a lot of the four stars for me came from out of 10.
Mhm.
But no, it's just again back to the therapy thing. I don't. It doesn't work. It's
Mhm.
and let's another Rick and Morty comparison.
Mhm.
There's a great therapy episode of Rick and Morty
Mhm.
where the family goes for therapy, and Susan Sarandon plays the psychologist
Oh,
or
right. Yeah, I remember
psychiatrist.
that. Yeah.
And it's like, and it's a very subtle. It's not screaming. It's not all this stupid. Like her behavior would throw her in the brig, or
Mhm.
sedate her and keep her, bound to a bed. Because again, it's just this hyper silliness that I guess is supposed to be funny, and it's like all it is loud and annoying, and it makes you hate this character that much more.
I think we're all
All right, we're done.
I
What
think
I
else?
was going to say,
no,
thanks for
honestly,
tuning in.
we're also. This is the most sedate episode after 9 weeks of doing this. No one's.
Well, because we're beaten.
We're
I don't
beaten.
know, but-
Exactly. It's the what is that? Stockholm syndrome. They beat us
No,
down.
because then we'd like it. Actually, I
yeah.
kind of like it now. I think it's great.
Well, see, we all uptaked a little bit, so maybe it is happening. We don't
Yeah,
know.
it is. Like one more episode, we'll be buying the T-shirts and the little
Thank
figures
God.
and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
sure, exactly.
Yeah,
I'll be wearing
I'm
a
all into it.
marinara shirt.
At the end of
And
next
everything.
week's episode, we're going to be like, I need season 2. I need
No.
season 2.
You know,
I think last week was so bad, and it was bad. Veritas, that episode.
Yes.
That I remember the name off the top of my head. That's how bad it was. I think anything is better than that last week. I think that's what you eat shit enough. Finally, when they give you real food, you're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever had. And I think
one of the positive secret hideout YouTubers that I do want to see what he thinks. It's kind of like watching Fox News and seeing what the jugheads are saying over there about politics. And he literally, I swear, you guys are going to go, holy shit, or no fucking way.
What?
He loved last week's episode.
No.
And literally said, this show explains what Lower Decks wants to be better than any other episode. And they couldn't have put this episode, Veritas, earlier because you needed to understand the pacing of the show, the characters, what they want to do with Star Trek in this show. And this is where it all finally came together.
They couldn't have put this episode earlier because nobody would have watched this shit afterwards.
Again,
no,
I'm talking about last week's show. I'm not
That's
talking
what
about
I
this
mean.
week.
No,
I'm saying they couldn't have put that episode first.
Oh, I would have quit, and I don't even get paid.
But again, and that was kind of his point, was it wouldn't make sense. But now, having watched 7 weeks of setup and understanding the characters and stuff, here we are. Now we're cooking, and I'm like, get out of the kitchen, because you don't know what you're doing if you think you're cooking, pal.
Maybe he's on the West Coast and they're showing a different
Maybe he's
show.
a different episode. I don't know.
Maybe he huffs aerosol cans before doing his goddamn show. I have no idea.
The demon weed from Picard.
I'm smoking the demon weed from Picard. Yeah, you'd think that would make me like it more.
Yeah,
too.
right. It's messed up.
The show's never really found its groove. It feels like they are trying to, but are okay with being mediocre instead, and they should try to do something unique before basically ripping off the first Shatner Trek movie. Well, honestly, Dante, I think they are overwritten. I have a feeling that McMahon's scripting team turns their stuff in, and that's just a supposition on my part that that's a little too rough. No, ease up on that, whatever. And I have a feeling this show might be rewritten a lot of times over. I have my Trek insiders. None of them have told me that, but
I think I'm gonna agree with you, because if you look at this episode just from a take it apart and analyze it kind of way, it's got a good premise and a good idea. She makes the movie. They make a whole bunch of references to all the Star Trek movies throughout. And there were a couple of funny things in it, but I could see where, then it was just like watered down or punched down and said, no, we can't do this, or we can't do this, or we can't do this. Because I have to believe that there's a lot of smart people that are writing Trek stuff. And it's just falling short every single time. And I think it's got to be because somebody's coming back in and, taking this out or watering this down or doing whatever, because there's been more than one episode where I've liked it or wanted to like it, or there's some thread of something in there that'll pay off later. And I could see where, especially with this episode, how they set it up as a movie. I'm going to rewrite this. It's going to be a movie. And then it made fun of all the movies. So,
Again, I can't believe how hypersensitive this regime of Trek is to make sure they're diverse and woke. Didn't see Marinara making fun of Tendi and going, I know it's like make-believe and I know it's alien races, but isn't this racist? Isn't this kind of... It's so funny, too, because right now, sorry, I've been talking to Tom King about Adam Strange and Strange Adventures, and we're only 5 issues in, but it kind of seems to me that might be an area where Tom is playing with that as well, where politics are suggesting the aliens are bad guys. The reality might be something much deeper. And again, there's almost this kind of, well, we're Earthlings, we know better kind of attitude coming from Adam. And I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, again, it just disappoints me that a show that says, oh, we're so inclusive, we're whatever. And it's like, that's kind of a racist thing to say. And again, I feel almost ridiculous saying this about fictional characters, but that's kind of the attitude. I mean, and truly, it seems like in genre fiction, that's what a lot of woke people object to, even with fictional races.
I'm going to agree with you. I think she's been nothing but consistently annoying.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a gag when the other girl sees that she's like this half-naked slave girl outfit and says something like "seriously," and that's all you had to do when she just looks down at her outfit.
Well, that would have helped. Yeah,
and they never acknowledged it. I was like, really? They're going to put her in this thing with her like a bikini top?
She was hot. Oh. Come on, Mitch, say
she had green boobs. She had green boobs.
She had a first name too on the end when they signed off. I was like, oh, now I know her first name. That I don't care. I don't remember it, but she's
there. No Susan George who played the Orion, Vina, the Orion slave girl in the or not Susan.
No,
George.
Yvonne de Craig.
Susan Oliver,
or Yvonne de Craig. Batgirl was.
Yeah, but I'm saying back in the pilot, the first time we see an Orion slave girl.
Oh, that one. Oh, and what was that parrot? That was no reference to any episode, was it? Because I'm like, I don't remember a parrot. The doctor, the psychiatrist.
I think that's going to be an inside joke. That one of the writers has a parrot that likes to talk about food. That's what I'm thinking.
And also, as Stuart points out, we got a bird psychologist and a cat doctor.
Yeah.
And no conflict between them. No jokes in that. I completely agree. Again, man. No, because that would be racist.
Yeah.
They're worried about PETA getting on their ass.
I looked at the parrot and I kept going, that bothered me because I'm like, what's this referring to? What episode is this supposed to be? And I'm like, I can't think of anything. So
I heard the Orion Syndicate has already placed an objection to last night's episode for their depiction as only sex-starved thieves. So that's good to hear.
There was a comment in there about the election too, wasn't there? I thought I heard some reference. I'm like, oh God, they're talking about where we are.
Nah,
right
you're sleep.
Maybe
you're sleepwatching.
It was 8 o'clock this morning.
Maybe you were flipping between that and the debates. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah.
I don't know who these lower decks people are.
I don't know.
Stand back and stand by.
Yeah.
Why is this episode of Lower Decks funnier than the cartoon ones? Yeah.
Oh, the Lower Decks again with that engineer when he was eating his soup or something, and the guy goes, "Why don't you go over and talk to me?" He goes, "I can't." And then you see the guy like put a mouthful of noodles or whatever in his mouth. Go, oh my God, he's so cool. I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. I don't know why.
Yeah, you are become Stockholm, Sweden.
I am, man.
Syndrome guy.
I'm buying my
kind of liking it.
My Rutherford headpiece next week. I'm going to come on the show with the thing on my head.
There must be an air leak in the holodeck. That's why Mitch is liking it. He's deprived of oxygen. Actually, I kind of like it now that I'm talking about it.
Look at this. I'm like Max Headroom.
It's true.
It's funny if this is funnier than the show.
And this is
all you need.
True and sad. So what are you wearing to allow your head to be headless? That it's not showing your body.
A green T-shirt.
Just green, just normal green.
There's a green screen behind me. I got on Amazon.
That I knew.
$12, and I have my St. Patrick's Day shirt.
Pull the T-shirt up over your face. See, isn't that much better? Isn't that much? No, go all the way. Go all the way up.
No.
But That is better than Baby Yoda mask. I got to be
Oh,
honest.
I have a Captain Pike chair too.
No.
I
Oh,
did.
that's hilarious.
I was all set not to talk at all, just go beep beep, and I cut my head out to fit on.
Again, there's
Pike
another funny joke when they got to the resort planet a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
And you had everybody in the Captain Pike chairs just on the beach.
And it would have been funny if they were arguing with each other, like beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, oh, what the hell's that? No.
Oh, my God.
We could write that. We should write an episode.
By the way, exactly.
We should
Once
put
again,
it together. Yeah.
That's funnier than what these assholes have done in 9 goddamn episodes. Ah, crap.
And why was she flying a Klingon ship? I don't know.
I don't care. That's a movie. It's a movie. I don't care.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Well, it's her fantasy. Whatever. That I mean, at first I was like, oh, it looks like a Klingon badass ship.
Yeah.
But whatever, that's okay. And maybe she commandeered it. That's why she's such a badass pirate. Kind of like Ducat getting his Klingon ship in Deep Space Nine for a while.
They did reference the Enterprise again. Like, oh, we wouldn't be going out here. The Enterprise would. I go,
of course.
There's a lot of other ships in Starfleet. We know the Enterprise is cool, but there's other ships out there. You know?
Again, they play at Star Trek. They don't, I don't know where the echo's coming from right now, but they don't. Yeah, they don't.
You know what it is?
Take it into granted.
When Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started, I used to watch. I watched the show the whole 7 years or whatever. And whenever they would throw out, and not the member bearers, just the fact that they'd say, "Oh, she's better than Romanoff." What? They mentioned the Black Widow, and you get all crazy, like, because that's something you like. And but this time I get mad when they mention the Enterprise. I really get angry. I'm like, you don't have the right to talk about that show because you're not in the same thing.
It's true.
You don't deserve the truth or whatever it is.
I agree.
You can't handle the Trek.
Mario mentions he misses my couch. It's there. It's the same
there.
I just wanted to show off the art behind me. You know what I mean?
That's nice. Shadow.
So it's the Shadow. Tom Gianni drew that. That's a classic Nick Fury. That excuse me.
Easy.
I'm trying to remember now. Shame on me. Great anchor for Mike Barron. Bill Reinhold drew that for me. Alex Saviuk did a Hal Jordan Green Lantern. That is a David Mack Daredevil silkscreen.
Nice.
And a Tone Rodriguez Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that out. And I will be rotating in other framed and actually going to add a couple more because I kind of like being here between the mirror and the pictures. But I'll probably add one more, at least two more picture frames. And I'll rotate in and out other images.
I have a lovely Comics banner behind me and to the side
Hold on.
well. Yeah. That's all I got. It's just the banner behind me.
Yeah, but that's good.
The flag. Yeah.
No, that's good. And then Mitch goes the further yard being floating head, which I think is fantastic.
I don't like it.
I have a dead body. I have a dead body
disturbing.
behind that.
I like it a lot. There's my bike that I keep, right there, my bicycle that I keep falling off of and stuff. Like Artie Johnson and laughing. Let's go on and talk about other TV shows.
This is done.
By the way, last week, ratings for Discovery being on regular CBS.
What was it?
Didn't even crack the top 10, right?
Wait, point 2.
It was, 0.2. And I will look up the article that likely will go into further depth. It was like 8th or 9th out of the top 10 for overall Thursday evening, but reruns of reality shows and other news shows. And technically they called this a new show because it was new on the network, for streaming. But again, that kind of shows you that nobody fucking cares.
Well, technically it aired once before, so it was a rerun.
I realize that, which is why I'm pointing out the distinction. But thank you for underlining that.
But point 2 is what, like 300,000 people, maybe?
That's why I want to look up and see if they can break it down. I'll look up.
Well, maybe they'll do better next week.
It's tonight.
Yeah,
I know.
Tonight.
Tonight's the second part of the pilot.
Well,
and that's at least where the action happened. All the action happened in.
It was against football. It had no chance.
They should put an episode of Lower Decks in before, like the cartoon before the movie type thing.
I got to be honest, Mitch. I don't think the rating. I don't think football
wasn't made it.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what like I said here, I'm just looking up Star Trek Discovery rating CBS. All right, hang on. You guys can talk as I'm looking this up, of course.
I got nothing else to say about this show.
Except that, I know.
How's Mark doing, Franco? I was going to call him today, say hey.
It's tonight. Things are going all right at the store. But yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
In the latest TV show ratings, CBS's proper launch of Star Trek Discovery's full first season on Thursday night drew 1.7 million total viewers and a 0.2 demographic rating, shy of what a Bull on CBS rerun does in the time slot, which got just 1 million, but a 0.3 2 weeks ago. Discovery's season premiere had previously aired on CBS exactly 3 years ago, concurrent with the, oh, that's true. I forgot about that. You're right. Actually, it ran free on CBS. It did. When they did that first episode, and saying, hey, if you want to see part 2, go to Discovery. So opening the eyes night, Big Brother got 4 million and a 1.1, and it rose a tenth in the demo week to week and dominated the night in that measure. Love Island got 1.9 million and a 0.5. Love Island kicked Star Trek's ass over on ABC, and pending pending adjustments due to NFL preemption in Miami. Celebrity Family Feud got 5 million.
I watched that. Yeah, that's why.
That's why it didn't do well. Because
Press Your Luck got 3.5 million. And Match Game got 2.9 million.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, great, good job. Hey, no, you got a great show, and everybody seems to love it. So don't change a thing. It's fantastic.
Beaten by old game shows is not a good idea.
I love Island. I mean, even I'll give you maybe Family Feud and one of the other Press. I don't know. I hate Press Your Luck. I've always hated Press Your Luck. No whammies. Oh, there's a whammy. Oh my god. Our whole Lower Decks is a whole big fucking whammy. Love Island was hot and loose women wearing bikinis. That might be why it got 1.9 million.
Well, if they had some Orion slave girls on it, they definitely get some big points there. Didn't technically CBS.
You're right, Dante. Yes, as we just said, that I had totally forgotten about that. That technically, Mitch is right. It is a full-fledged rerun. The head is correct.
The head knows.
I will not disagree with the head again. That's a lie, but what else? I can't think.
I have no Trek news. Any follow up on that movie stuff? Nothing?
No, I didn't see anything. Again,
when is the new Discovery? The week after next?
2 weeks.
Yeah. So next week we get the exciting conclusion to Lower Decks, and then right away the following week we will be back. We'll have a different. Mitch has drawn a wonderful alien Trek watch. I wanted to save it for when we were talking about Discovery to distinguish the two different shows.
I saw a Borg head on the show tonight. She used it as a shield. I was like,
yeah, it was clever. Clever. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, but there was something else they mentioned too, and I go, I don't know why. I don't know. It's a waste of time.
I think they should make the show of her holodeck version. I think it'd be better. Like I said, I keep saying that. Yeah, we mentioned that next week is the last episode of the cartoon, and then Discovery after that. And I went, ugh.
This is the.
I kind of hope maybe in the final episode, maybe the final season episode, the captain and Marinara will kill each other. That would be, if I could write my own fan fiction, that's my vote. And then Boimler is through his own ineptness, is shot out of an airlock and dies of asphyxiation in space, but not before he's, oh my god, I can't believe. So that's how he can die. And then Rutherford and Tendi can take over the show. And Rutherford says, Tendi, we're going to lead this show. You got to take it down a notch and not be excited about everything, please. And Tendi goes, okay, just don't make fun of the fact that I'm an Orion and don't get racist on me. And hey, I'm half Vulcan. That's the last thing I would do. And then they kiss, and then we get to see season 2. So that's my fan fiction of how to end the first season. Let's all end the first season the way we'd like to see it end.
John, what was the name of that alien race that was in the beginning of the show that was only seen in Star Trek 4 at the courtroom scene? They had like the bald head and they clapped their hands when Kirk and everything was found not guilty.
Did they have the nets over their faces, or
No, they were on the beginning of this week's show, like, oh my god, that's another callback.
I missed the reference. That's fantastic that you saw it.
Oh
I
no,
missed the reference.
they didn't do anything in Star Trek 4. They just made a weird noise.
Well, that's why, because
guilty.
There's also the alien race that has like cargo net over their faces.
Yeah.
And they got like a ring around their head.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that stood out to me from Star Trek 4. In the first motion picture, there's the alien that's bald. The back of his head looks like a butt.
Yeah. Do you think if they did like a MS3K Mystery Science Theater with us watching it every week and calling out stuff, it would be funny, or that wouldn't help the show either? Like just
I always say even a shitty comedy.
Mm.
Your MST3K has done that, but like we Franco and me and Skokie Spidey were like ranking on bad movies, and a few comedies came up as possibilities, and I'm like, let's not make fun of a comedy. Yeah, it's just
well, would you do it for this though?
No, because I don't think it's worth.
Then we'd have to watch it again,
right?
No, we're not going to do that. I'd watch Picard again if I can make funny comments, because that show is just looking for beating up.
Right. Now, you're right, Dante. This is the question. How many people are going to come back and watch this week's episode of Discovery? Again, it's never been aired on over-the-air network. And also, like I said, and especially they kind of blew it. I think they should have shown it as a 2-hour premiere, because I do think the pilot is decent. It looks like I've frozen. Am I leaving?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Hey, what if it does lower? I mean, CBS is locked into this. They can't back out of it. They're going to ride this bitch all the way down, aren't they?
Honestly, I think to save face, they kind of have to.
Even if it gets lower than a 0.3 and gets like a 1.5 or whatever the hell the numbers are.
Well, then they'll just bury it on another night. They'll bury it at Friday night at 9. I mean, that's or a Saturday night. They'll move it to Saturdays.
Yeah,
because those are the dead nights on a 7-day TV schedule.
But there's a pandemic. The ratings should be higher,
right? Because no one can go anywhere.
If it was good,
yeah.
And the people that truly are like, hey, I'm a Star Trek fan, but I'm not going to spend money. Okay, great. I can finally watch. This is what we're watching.
There's no science fiction on right now and on the networks, is there? There's no regular free TV
I don't
show.
Well, CW has, and I don't know if again, I keep meaning to watch it, that Pandora show that Mark Allman created. It's going into its second season, and I keep meaning to even go back and watch the first season just to check it out. Expanse is coming back on Amazon Prime in November, so that's exciting.
What night is that show on CW? I've never heard of it.
I wish I could tell you.
Johnny, I got to talk to you too, because I just got Apple TV because I got a new iPad and they threw in a year of Apple TV. So, you were talking about that Moon show, right?
For All Mankind is a fantastic show.
That was good.
Can't recommend it enough. Pardon me. Also, I really liked Greyhound, the Tom Hanks World War II movie. I really liked
Submarine. It. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. It was.
The Right Stuff TV show starts this weekend on Disney Plus. I'm going to watch that. So there is some sci-fi stuff.
I watched the panel for that on San Diego Comic-Con. It looks incredible. It looks fantastic. Yeah. I'm very, very excited for that. Any well-made astronaut stuff, you have me at hello. I mean, I loved the original space program. I'm not as big on the shuttle. The shuttle looked too much like the Love Boat of NASA to me.
Is the right
stuff
for
love? What now?
The right stuff is historical based like the movie. Not.
It's
okay.
Wait.
Just
Johnny have a stroke?
A National Geographic thing, but it's going to be on Disney Plus. I know. I keep freezing. I don't know.
No, Lance Hendrickson, he hated that movie. I talked to him, and he was like, "It was terrible how they made the astronauts look like clowns." I'm like, "I thought it was a good movie," and then we start arguing. He's in the movie, and I'm like, "I didn't think it was that bad." I go, "Oh, it was. Those guys were heroes, and it made him look like a bunch of buffoons." I go,
"He's wrong. It's one of the best."
You're right. It's a good movie. So
Philip Kaufman is the director. It's a fantastic movie. Great use of models, both for the Chuck Yeager stuff and the astronaut stuff. He's wrong, and I'm sure he's pissed because I don't know how much they shot with him, but he's kind of a background character in the,
he
in the
is.
movie.
Yeah, Wally Schirra. He didn't have a
I
big
mean, and
part.
Wally Schirra had a lot of significant things happen.
Oh,
Oh God, everybody, it's on YouTube if you've never seen it. Turner produced a 2-hour, maybe longer, maybe it was 2 nights, but it's on YouTube. It's called Moonshot, and it was based on Deke Slayton, one of the original Mercury astronauts book. Deke Slayton had passed away, so the great character actor Barry Corbin, who's in War Games, and hell, I'd piss on a spark plug if I thought it would work.
and
Or
Northern
Mr. McKittrick, your computer sucks. Yeah, and in Northern Exposure, he played Maurice, who was a former astronaut. So it's kind of perfect that he played Deke Slayton. But they go through the entire career from Mercury to the last Apollo of all the astronauts. And Wally Schirra, and it's also covered in From the Earth to the Moon. Wally Schirra, his mission was right after the sad Apollo 1 mission, where Gus Grissom and Ed White and Roger Chaffee passed away, on the pad. So that mission had to go right. And Wally Schirra was like totally all business and really pissed throughout the entire mission about them adding, we should do this experiment, that experiment. And you can hear him yelling at mission control about the things they were asking him to do. He's saying, all right, I'm really fed up right now. And that's why it was his only mission in space. Yeah, it's very interesting. And yeah, very publicly, Wally Schirra was just kind of barking back at NASA. So that I'm looking forward to watching Right Stuff to see if they explore that. You get a little bit of it with Mark Harmon, who played Schirra in From the Earth to the Moon, the Tom Hanks HBO show, which is another great show. That's on demand right now. Yeah, you can watch that on HBO Max.
And if you don't want to watch, if you don't want to watch Lower Decks, there's a great. There's Lance. Speaking of Lance Hendrickson, he did a Fox show that was.
Millennium?
Millennium? Was it Millennium?
Yeah, Millennium. Yeah.
Oh,
Millennium
was
was a great show, and ended after
show.
one season because he was having all sorts of issues with that show. He just couldn't handle
Frank?
he couldn't handle the subject matter. No, he couldn't handle the subject matter.
Wow.
And,
really?
Yeah,
he was having a production schedule. Go on, please.
No, he was having a hard time. From what I understand, I could be wrong, but from the way I remember, he was having a hard time with the subject matter and couldn't deal with a lot of the stuff. It was just too dark. But it was a great show, and I liked it a lot.
He played Frank Black. I remember that guy. Yeah, and then he followed up on that. I think he was on X-Files after they canceled that show because they kind of wrapped up his storyline, like what happened to him. Because remember that was when Y2K was coming in the 2000s.
Right. It was called Millennium.
Yeah. But everyone thought the world was going to end.
Yeah, they had and also they did kind of have a wrap up to Millennium in an X-Files episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you just say that? And I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're pulling a Mitch right now.
I was going to say, there's my senior moment. No offense.
Will you shut this guy up? Get this clown out of here. Oh, I'm sorry. Look,
I'll give myself a timeout.
I wish Wally Schirra would watch Lower Decks and go off on it.
Yeah, because he'd come on the show and say, "Look, I'm a little fed up right now."
Look, Wally Schirra would be going like this if he had to watch Lower Decks.
We got a couple good comments here. Hold on. I'd rather they did one of multiple different story series where each week a different crew with a different story, but based on holodecks, it could be animated and called holodecks. Yeah, but to do all that kind of design would probably cost a lot more money. So that'd be great, Dante, but I don't see that ever happening, frankly. Free idea. I hope CBS person will use it instead of this trial. Okay, very good. Wayne, I haven't watched it yet. I watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre instead. Sure.
You probably did the right thing.
All the people who wanted to watch Discovery have already watched Discovery. Yeah,
I think so.
I'm sure they did BitTorrenting, pirating. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that used to be a thing. I loved it. A TV movie pilot introducing a new series like Incredible Hulk did back in the day. Yeah. There you go. Tyler Morgan, it's really good. I'm not sure what you're saying is really good. If you like Lower Decks, God bless you, son.
Yeah.
And maybe he's talking about Right Stuff and these other things.
Oh, yeah, the Right Stuff, yeah.
There was a following of Frank Black, and yes, thank you, Wayne. Exactly. There you go. See, Wayne wasn't intentionally.
Thank you, Wayne, for explaining that.
He wrote a great comic book for Dark Horse along with Tom Mandrake, Lance Henriksen. It's called "To Hell You Ride," and I used to say, "You sure it's not Tell You Ride?" He's like, "No, But he was an interesting guy. I didn't think he liked comic books, but he's all into it though. I interviewed him for
Sienkiewicz and him are friends, and
are
Sienkiewicz
they
was
really?
thrilled that they're friends. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny because you know how you do these. They give you the press junket. They go, you got 10 or 15 minutes. They said, that's all you got. I like you, Mitch. I was there for 45 minutes and he went
that's
on.
great.
And then you run out of questions. And before I walked in, they go, whatever you do, don't ask him about Alien and James Cameron. I'm like, what the hell? That was all I had on my sheet. And I was like, I'll throw that away. So what do you want to talk about, Mr. Hendricks?
I like that every celebrity encounter story you have, they wind up yelling at you.
They do. It was
the corn chicks from Femme Fatale. Yeah.
Ob Driver from Dark Cross. He was
I know Aubrey. Sure.
I know Ob. Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what to tell you.
That's hilarious. He made Johnny Handsome with what's his face? Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. Yeah,
he's one of the bad guys in Johnny Handsome. I remember that, and I liked him. I've always liked Lance Henriksen.
He's in great. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. If you look good, you can see him in the background.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's one of his first movies. Yeah.
Wow. I love that about TV, and a lot like Law and Order and the other procedural shows, law shows, cop shows, medical shows, and you suddenly spot like Liam Neeson in an early Miami Vice from mid-80s, things like that. Or God, Kojak is fantastic for that in the 70s. Stallone is on there. Stallone also another great show like that, Police Story.
Oh yeah,
and I'll DVR that at like 3 a.m. on MeTV on Saturday nights because I love seeing. Oh my God, there's one where Stallone is a rookie cop and Chuck Connors is his veteran partner. And it's just like, that's fantastic, man. There's the team up I've never wanted.
Speaking of Chuck Connors, aren't they releasing the DVD collected Blu-ray version of Werewolf?
Yeah.
Fox,
Werewolf. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the problem is they had music rights problems. That's what's held that thing up for like all this time. They don't have all the
almost 40 years. That was a great show.
Yeah,
I love that show. That was an early Fox show. Yeah.
It was no Lucan the Wolf Boy from the 70s.
Not early Fox show. It was like one of the
Lucan. Attaboy for good Lucan reference. Very good.
Yeah, it wasn't an early Fox show. It was like one of the first Fox shows on.
Yeah.
And it's like when they didn't even have they only had like Friday night programming or something like that.
Yeah, they were on once a week
with Beans Baxter. I think they were 2 nights a week.
Thursday. No, they started against Cosby with like The Simpsons, and they had Sunday night with Tracy. They only had 2 nights a week.
That's when Beans Baxter was on.
Yeah. Hey, do you think Lower Decks would have worked on like a Fox? Because no network would have taken the show, even though it's CBS. No, but Fox has a lot of animated shows.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't think this would have worked?
Well, you know how like the shows like Beans Baxter didn't last for a season, more than a season, and stuff like that. Same thing would have happened here.
Yeah, it's like that's when Family Guy first came back, and Peter, I can't believe we're back on TV. Or no, it was like actually it was a flashback. They're canceling us. Well, you understand, Lois. They had to make room for shows like Herman's Head, Costello, The World According to Andy Richter. I mean, it was great. Like literally, like it went out.
All the shows that were canceled, yeah.
And it's like a ridiculous grocery list of bad Fox shows. It was fantastic. So,
I wonder what they do. Like this stuff. They put an order in for how many episodes before the show even airs, right?
Yeah.
If they spend all this money on, say, this animated show, and it tanks in the rate, it's horrible. What do they do with all the unaired stuff? They just sell it to like Comedy Central, or put it on DVD, or just bite the bullet and lose advertising?
They hope one day somebody invents DVD players and you put it out as a box set.
Well, there's already an example of that with Powerless, the NBC show.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And they didn't run all 13 of the episodes they made with that. They only ran like I want to say 8 or 9. My buddy Patrick Schumacher, who's the Harley Quinn showrunner,
Harley Quinn, yeah,
he was telling me about that. And they really made a mistake where they made that Adam West episode, which actually was one of the funniest episodes of the show, and they didn't run it until after he died, after it had been canceled, and they ran it for free on YouTube for a while. And now you can buy it on iTunes. There's a lot of orphan shows like that you can buy on iTunes and some other pay services. I don't know if they'd ever commit to making it on DVD because that's expensive.
Oh, okay.
And also don't forget, animation isn't as expensive, obviously, as live action television.
No, but I figured that somebody had to go through the trouble. I'm just wondering, would Lower Decks succeed anywhere outside of this pay CBS thing that we have to watch it on. I mean,
here are some good
Sci-Fi
comments.
Channel, maybe.
Good comments here. I remember the episode of Werewolf where he was having silver bullets made out of a silver cross chain. Very good. At the Rhode Island Comic-Con, Lance stopped me as I was walking by to talk to him about sports. There weren't many people at his table. I actually loved Herman's Head. There you go. There's a Fox favorite. Yeardley Smith on live action on Herman's Head was one of the voices in his head.
Oh, Fish Police. I remember Fish Police.
I don't know if ABC did that or not with Fish Police. I've always seen Fish Police in the bootleg DVD section in various kiosks at conventions.
Yeah.
So,
did it actually air on the
I thought it was
I thought
it was on USA Network or something, or that was that Duck show with
Duckman. Duckman actually lasted for a few seasons.
Yeah, Jason Alexander. Yeah.
Fish
Police.
That's hilarious. And Stuart liked Powerless, and then Dante says, "I love the whole concept of Warner Archive." Yes, they print order old TV shows and movies on DVD. Absolutely. I got this barely remembered 1972 or 73 lawyer show called Hawkins, where they made 9 episodes. Jimmy Stewart was the lawyer, Hawkins, Southern lawyer. Strother Martin from Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
What we have here is failure to communicate. He plays his cousin and detective Legman, and they solve murders. It's hilarious, and it's great. It's 1970s Jimmy Stewart. No, wait a minute. And they're like 90. They were 90-minute episodes. And how's this for weird? It was part of a CBS wheel, like NBC had their wheels, but it only had 2 shows. So it would alternate, I swear to God, with Richard Roundtree as Shaft in the TV version of Shaft.
That ain't a wheel.
So this week, let's
flapjack. They just flip it over.
This week, let's watch some urban crime with Shaft, and then watch me next week. And then the show about the hookers is going to be back on the next week.
You know, I'm going to get my revenge. I'm going to book the cast from Lower Decks to the next Terrificon, the voice cast, and I'm going to put a panel on, and John's going to moderate it, and Franco's going to sit there too, and I'm going to watch.
I'm not going to sit there.
Well, Dante says he was replying to Mitch. ABC paid a ton for Fish Police. Then it crapped out after 6 episodes, and they yanked it.
Oh
wow.
Yeah. Well, again, ratings are important, and that was a primetime cartoon that they didn't have. Well, and also Clerks was like that. Clerks was a primetime cartoon.
Yeah, that's 6 episodes.
They didn't show all of them. Yeah.
No, I remember buying the box set just to get the other ones. What do you think about that, Johnny? You think if I put you on a panel with Dennis Quaid's son and the rest of the crew that you could have a stiff upper lip would you no, it's not their fault. They're just the voice actors. But
yeah, I'd cut Jack Quaid slack. And of course, I mean, we could talk about The Boys with Jack Quaid.
Yeah, right.
Johnny's first question up would be, so why did you guys think this was shit while you were doing it too?
Yeah.
Right?
No, I'd be good.
Nah. The writers. Who would you want to get if you had to pick a group to blame? Would you just go after the writers or the producer? Who would you pick?
Rather than to blame, I would love to. Yeah, I would love to sit down with Mike McMahon if he were able to talk completely free of any concerns and be like, "Are you really happy with what you did?" And if he says yes, absolutely, I'd be like, "All right, you got to help me out, man, because I know you're funnier than what we got on screen. What happened?"
Yeah, when I
don't like doing those interviews. I really hate doing.
No, but
and so I would be nice. I would be polite. But that's the thing. No, I don't blame the actors at all. I think it comes down to the writing and the show running. And it's a shame because, again, it's a great looking show. And back to tonight's episode or today's episode, it looks great. I mean, it achieves what it wanted to do from a visual standpoint. Where's the funny? Where's the real verisimilitude adherence to Trek?
I thought the debates was the worst thing on television, but then I realized I watch Lower Decks every week. So
that's a toss-up, man.
I was going to say, I don't know about that one.
Well,
yeah, I'd have to say
the Lower Decks was only 90 minutes. This one's been how many episodes now? 9
but still,
25.
But like Lower Decks doesn't affect our lives. So I think that puts added weight to the debate.
Only about an hour a week.
Right, exactly.
Like therapy.
And the gray hair that I'm getting from watching it and everything. All right.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what we think.
We got one more next week.
Yeah. I think John would only talk to Jack about boys. The rest of the cast, I think the first question would be, how much is the scripts edited from the original draft? I don't even know if they would know. And how much does Paramount, CBS, and Kurtzman have a say in them before you animate? Yeah, I think those are Mike McMahon questions. And again, again, I look forward to the 20th anniversary of Lower Decks when he could speak freely, or Mark Altman's son continues the oral histories of Star Trek, and we'll get the straight story there. Again, if no one watching has read the 50-year mission, if they haven't read it, the 2 volumes that Mark Altman and I forget his co-writer, it is so eye-opening. I didn't know that Alexander Sigdig and Avery Brooks kind of had not the best relationship on Deep Space Nine.
Really?
Yeah. And that's from Sigdig's point of view. I had heard that Kira. Well, I knew Kira was really pregnant. I didn't know initially that it was Alexander Sigdig's baby. So they were doing the wild thing.
I knew that. Yeah.
There's a lot of really, and especially all those Trek projects that ended up not happening. Planet of the Titans, all those startup at Phase 2, all those startups and things that didn't make it. There's tons of information about all that stuff. And even the building blocks of Discovery, which now looking at it, were very different from what we got.
Wasn't Sulu supposed to get his own show, or was that just talk?
Well, no, that was always a cause celeb among the fans and George Takei, but no.
Oh, I thought that was legit.
No.
Oh.
And that's fine. I mean, I've loved the Sulu books. I loved the Voyager episode that recontextualized that undiscovered country from Sulu's point of view and his crew. I thought that was cool. It would have been a great show. Hey man, I want a Worf show. I want Michael Dorn's been trying really hard. I mean, and again, that's the frustration. It's all these great ideas, and it's yeah, it's okay. We're gonna stick with what we're doing. Oh, you mean the shit that you're doing? Hey, great, thanks, good idea. Why isn't there a Starfleet Academy show with O'Brien or Worf? Give it to Worf. I think that would be great. And also, that was the latest rumor that I heard, that there might be a Worf show in the works.
Oh,
yeah, but that's been around for years too, John.
Yeah,
that's true.
Show.
Yep. So anyway, that's what we know. Well, one more.
Are we going to do Are we going to do an extra long episode next week for the finale, like a 3-hour marathon?
No, especially if it's shit like the other ones.
No, I imagine it'll be like this, and we'll recap.
We should do a retrospect. Look at all 10 of them, and say which one was the best and which one was which was the worstest of the worst. There you go.
I might have to skip that episode. Sorry.
I was going to say, if you want to put that brain power in, God bless you. I'm very content with knowing. I really think episode 8 was absolutely the worst one so far.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with 10. But yeah, I mean, yes, that's right, Wayne. You haven't missed a thing. And did you guys follow the Peter David paperbacks? Yes, I did. I love the Peter. I think they're great.
I read a bunch of them, but not for years now. He's still doing them now, or that's over with?
I don't know. Actually, that's a fair question. I haven't seen him listed in doing any new books, and I'm constantly looking at what is being released.
Weren't the two names him and Michael Jan Friedman?
Yeah.
They
did a lot of the early books. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I met him recently. Really nice guy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He was at one of my shows years ago. Who did the Titan books? Was that Peter David?
No, I don't remember their names. They were Peter David's original Trek idea was, what's the name of the ship? Mackenzie Calhoun was the captain. New Frontier. They were called New Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah,
and that was his series of books with his own crew, and he took a lot of side Starfleet officers and threw them on Mackenzie Calhoun's ship. And Captain Jellicoe was promoted to Admiral.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Shelby from Best of Both Worlds was his first officer.
Right. I heard
former lover.
Yes, I heard about that. I remember.
It was cool. Peter David knows how to write Star Trek. His stuff is great. In fact, Tom King and I earlier this week were talking about the Peter David Star Trek books and how much we like them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. Some other final comments. Tyler, what do you got, Tyler? What would you do with a Worf show? Him growing up, post-Enterprise career? I'd like to see Ambassador Worf kind of in a hybrid Starfleet Klingon world kind of case. I think a Worf Klingon show would be great. I loved all the Klingon DS9 shows myself.
Mhm.
So why would anyone bring all 10 of well,
Why would I'm a sadist. I like getting beaten. I got some long whips and shit here.
It would have been a better TV show than this and could have been well, we'll see what Prodigy looks like.
Did
We'll
they
see.
ever tell you? I was going to say, why did Terry Farrell? You read that book? Did it talk about why she never came back for the last season?
Yeah, well, no, it's time to renegotiate her contract. And
that's all it was.
Yeah, no, they were being hard asses, and she's like, "All right, see you later."
Oh, real? Okay.
And we got Nicole DeBoer as Ezri Dax, which I thought was great.
Oh, she was great. Yeah.
It's like, Woody replacing Coach on Cheers. It's like, no, actually, that worked out.
That's true.
And I love the post DS9 novels; are fantastic. They're amazing. Really,
did they ever
really
tell you what happened to Cisco, the emissary? They tell you?
Yeah, they did. No,
he comes back.
Yeah, it's a complicated story, but yes, he does come back.
Oh, cool. Maybe I'll read that.
Well, and he said he might come back, and he's like, maybe tomorrow, maybe next year, I don't know. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. And they had, I'll spoil this much. His and Cassidy's baby has founder powers like Cisco does.
Well, that's cool.
So I loved, you guys saw What You Left Behind, or What We Left Behind.
Yeah, the documentary. Yep.
That proposed episode 8 or season 8, episode 1 was just amazing. And good Lord, I would love for them to follow through on that story. Ira Bear says he won't, but
yeah,
I mean, it's technically CBS's to do with what they want. And if I were IDW, I would be begging them to let them make a full story arc out of that. By the way, tomorrow night on Word Balloon Live, more Star Trek conversation with Dave Baker, one of my favorite younger creators out there. He's writing a new Star Trek Voyager comic for IDW.
Oh,
and it's set before the finale, so it's in the regular show continuity. But I read it; it looks amazing. I wish he were writing Star Trek right now because I know he's a great screenwriter as well. He wrote the fine Netflix film Alien Invasion. And what my favorite thing that happened, and I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow night. He and I were talking about great or really schlocky 80s sci-fi. And the subject of trancers came up. You guys remember trancers?
Oh, yeah, that guy. Oh, I can't think of his name. The actor, Jack. Tim. That's it. Yeah. He was in a bunch of them.
And the character was Jack Death, DETH.
Yep.
And whoever has the film rights to trancers got a hold of Dave and saw the word balloon or heard the word balloon. And it's like, hey, you really seem to know a lot about trancers. You want to have a meeting about it? We actually own the rights. And he's like,
oh, that's cool.
So nothing came of it, but that's fantastic. Again, I love when I hear stories like that the industry people are watching and listening to Word Balloon. That's good. I hope the Lord next people are watching, and I hope they're embarrassed and ashamed of themselves for having to subject us to 5 hours of complete shit. So, all right, final comments, kids, because we're going to wrap up, and they're all from Dante. All right, yeah, you said that already. I'm psyched for the continuing stories of Voyager and DS9 IDW is doing. I agree. The 7 to 9 series is the Dave Baker series that he's doing. I hope someone gets Jerry Ryan to do a con soon because she's on every photo cover solicited so far. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Well, we'll see what happens when conventions come back. When they come back to Connecticut, we will be doing a lot of amazing programming for Terrific Con.
Yeah. I've sold my arm and a leg just to get the virus vaccine. That's why all I have is a head.
They saved Mitch's brain.
I'm like when Apollo grabs the Enterprise, he just holds on to it. Always has his head. Or I'm Abraham Lincoln floating in space.
Zeus, forgive me.
Jim.
Oh, you were right. You were all right. I want to go back.
I need a starship. What does Mitch need with a starship?
Oh, I don't know
let's
about
leave.
that. Thank you. All right.
That's it. Thank you for watching. One more week of this shit, and then we'll move on to a different kind of pain with, of course, Star Trek Discovery Season 3. There he goes. His head is going away. All right. Stay safe. Stay happy. Stay healthy, everybody.
Bye.